Stoma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now I've said it on many occasions, and I think back by popular demand. I'm gonna say it again. All hail Khalid Sauerland, right? He's one of the masterminds behind the WBSS tournaments that are going on, right? And the super middleweight tournament didn't disappoint in the final. All England dust up in Saudi Arabia. You had your boy George Groves, WBA super middleweight champion. Somebody we respect. Don't get it twisted. Versus number one seed in the tournament, matter of fact. Versus number two seed was Callum Smith. He ain't number two for nothing, because he was in front of Eubank and Al Yildirim and all them other ones, right? So, these guys, Callum Smith is also undefeated. So this was a good fight, and I'm just now getting to a little bit late to the party. I wasn't able to watch it live and things like that, and it doesn't really matter. We're talking about the significance of it. Let's make sure this is clear. The WBSS tournaments are tournaments where they're trying to find out who the best fighter is in the division, which means if you're a boxing fan, you need to be supporting this, right? This is what you need to be supporting. We saw what happened in the cruiserweight division, and it went under the radar as far as I'm concerned. It's out there a little bit, but not really. What division were all of the best fighters, the top 8, all of them, and it goes to the tournament? The only one in the cruiserweight tournament that was missing was Dennis Lebedev, and we didn't need him there since he didn't want to show up. Now, the super middleweight division was a little different. You had a Gilberto Ramirez wasn't there. That was significant. And I would say James DeGale at the time. But he was hurt at the time. He couldn't even. So now he got Khaled Truex problems. And he done gave up the belt because he ain't trying to mess with Uzcata guy, right? Who had another fight, matter of fact, yesterday too, right? In the light heavyweight division just to stay busy. Because nobody going to fight him in the super middleweight division, but that's another story. We might get to it. Now, the point is, though, in the super middleweight division, George Groves was Callum Smith. These guys handled their business. Callum Smith had somebody else step in for his fighter, Jorgen Bremer, who had to pull out through injury. But because Jorgen Bremer was in the tournament, which could have been different if he would have stayed healthy. But it didn't happen. Now, anybody beats Chris Eubank Jr., I'm giving respect to. I know some people don't respect the guy and this and that. But I just told you, when you're talking Chris Eubank Jr., you're talking about somebody who's probably not going to get tired and is going to throw his hands. So you're going to have to do something to get rid of him, or at least beat him. And that's what George Groves did, right? So, it's a tribute to his pedigree. George Groves lost to Carl Froch twice, and he's lost to your boy Battle Jack, if I'm not mistaken. It's Battle Jack, right? I might be mistaken. It might be somebody else, but I think it was Battle Jack. Listen. The guy, I've been respecting George Groves since his build-up to the first Carl Froch fight. I like Carl Froch more than George Groves, actually. Wanted Carl Froch to beat George Groves. But I respected the way he was like, I'm not here to respect you, Carl Froch. And then Froch irked me. Because you know how I don't like people to feel entitled, right? And Carl Froch was irked because the man wasn't respecting him every time. Couldn't even shake his hand. Carl Froch was irked during the whole build-up. And George Groves, I respected him since that day. He lost that fight. He was winning it when he got knocked out, or stopped, let's say. And then the second fight, he lost it. But he's a respected fighter, and he's a good fighter. But in this fight right here, right, Callum Smith pretty much front-footed George Groves, and George Groves is not light-handed, guys. This is a heavy-handed kind of guy. Definitely waiting on counters, which he showed in this fight before he was stopped. But Callum Smith is heavy-handed. You would think that, be 6'3" for a super middleweight, which is very tall and got a long reach. You wouldn't think he's going to be this heavy-handed. Something got to give. Dude is heavy-handed, guys. Had George Groves looking light-handed up in there. It was something to see. This right hand this guy was trying to throw since round 2. But George Groves had a good account of himself, did well again. But at the end of the day, George Groves was stopped in round 7. I'm talking about George Groves hit this guy with a right hand, right? And it's one of the right hands. You know how you hit somebody with the right hand and you can't help yourself but to look at your work. But it was like, hey, you know a left hook is coming. It's too late. Left hook was already there. And boom, that was the beginning of the end. Because let's get this clear. Callum Smith, he finished like a god. He finished that fight real well. He knew he was hurt, finished him. And this is one of the Smith brothers. There's four of them. Four of them. Two of them, I think, been champions. Liam Smith and Callum. Paul, I don't know. There's one other one. I'm forgetting the names. I ain't like I know everything. But it's brothers. Like the Klitschko brothers, the Charlo brothers, Williams sisters, the Maliva sisters. People forget that in tennis. It was three of them. Bad girls. Malivas. Right? Who else is brothers over there? I don't know no more right now. The Bryan twins over there in tennis. So, when people reach the highest level at what they're doing, championship level, that's pretty awesome. And Callum Smith now has put himself in the middleweight division. It's like, what's up, everybody? Because winning the Super 6 tournament is significant. It's the tournament where people enter to find out who the best was. And he wasn't favored. Come through there as the number 2 seed is well done. Well done. And everybody that wasn't there, you're not going to get more props than the ones who entered. Like your boy Ramirez. Gilberto Ramirez is the goods. Now, southpaw bad boy, also tall, a bad boy. But you didn't enter the tournament. You weren't there. And James DeGale is out of the mix right now, trying to get big fights, all of a sudden. But you wasn't in this tournament. And you had Callum Truex problem. Good luck with big fights. But he's going to Britain, which might help him. But let me make sure this is clear. These two Brits handle their business. Now you hear stuff like, this is how fight people are, fans. Fans are funny. Everybody that they don't like is a bum. And if your fighter loses, he should retire right away. George Groves just got through beating Chris Eubank Jr., who, after he lost to George Groves, should have retired. But, Chris Eubank, he was trying to enter this tournament in the super middleweight division, which is too big, and the middleweight. He was going to go down to the middleweight the next year. He just tested himself. That's all. And got beat by George Groves, who is the WBA super middleweight champion. Only beaten by Carl Froch and Badu Jack, who is a light heavyweight, raising hell with Adonis Stevenson. Everybody don't need to retire. George Groves lost in the final of the WBS Double Dust tournament. The final. Was doing well until then. I might have had him behind by a round. I had him up anyway. Because, I give championship points. He's the champion. And just because your boy Callum Smith, every time he touched him with the right hand, things would happen. But between them right hands, I saw jabs to the body, jabs to the midsection, counters galore. I saw George Groves doing some good things. He was doing his feinting, and getting with good jabs. Boom. But, you do 4 or 5 of those things when the right hand kind of staggers you, then you might lose the ground in many people's eyes. But it was a good fight. Both of the guys did well. Callum Smith is going to be a force. I'm glad for him. Glad for Callum Smith, because now somebody's going to have to come see him. That makes this very interesting. Makes it very interesting in the super middleweight division. Now, I know Uzcategui. I can't get that name right, man, because, we can't get it right. Uzcategui. It's got to go, right? Y'all better be careful with him, because he gonna fight anybody. But Gilberto Ramirez, I don't know. But right now, the guy who is the Muhammad Ali Trophy holder, right? He's only the 3rd guy for Ring Magazine, for the super middleweight champion for Ring Magazine. For those who care, because I don't. But Ring Magazine still means stuff to some people, and especially when you put the names that are there. You're talking Joe Calzaghe, undefeated, retired, baddest dude around. And you're talking Andre Ward, undefeated, retired, baddest dude around. So if you can put your name with them, you better go on frame and take a good picture of it. It might not be that long. You ain't as bad as them yet. But it's good to be the 3rd one. And to win a tournament where people, everybody, it entered, actually. So like I'm going to say again, I'm going to say this. The WBSS tournaments, let's be real here for a second. These things are important. Because in boxing, we have all the sanctioning bodies in the way, because they don't want to have people fighting. Then you have fans that don't want to see the best, that are tolerant people going in weight divisions and not fighting each other and feeling entitled. Two champions can't fight because one champion feels like he's more worth than the other champion. All of those things that we have that help us not get fights, right? It's refreshing to have tournaments where at the end there's somebody that's the baddest dude, like Alexander Usyk in the cruiserweight division. When we talk cruiserweight right now, it's Alexander Usyk. And, people that win these tournaments need to be heralded as something special. So welcome to being special, Callum Smith. And congratulations. And we definitely going to keep our eye on you because you got some stuff that I'm liking. Tall, rangy, with a right hand somebody don't want to feel. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Don't Sports Talk. Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.